Welcome. This is Cheating Tale Stories. Tell me where you're watching from. Have you ever trusted someone so completely that the thought of betrayal never even crossed your mind? Sometimes the people we love most are the ones capable of hurting us the deepest. Tell me in the comments below. Call me naive. Maybe that's exactly what I was. My name is David, and for 15 years, I thought I had the perfect marriage. 15 years of what I believed was honesty, trust, and genuine love. My wife Elena and I met in college, got married young, and built what I thought was an unshakable foundation together. Elena was everything I could have asked for in a partner. She was intelligent, caring, and had this infectious laugh that could brighten even my worst days. We lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and secrets were supposedly impossible to keep. About 3 years ago, Elena started what she called her book club. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, she'd head over to her friend Monica's house for what she described as literary discussions and wine. I thought it was wonderful that she had found a group of like-minded women to connect with. I even encouraged it, thinking it was healthy for our marriage, that we each had our own interests and social circles. The meetings became routine. Elena would kiss me goodbye around 7, saying she'd be back by 10, and sure enough, she'd return home right on schedule, usually carrying whatever book they were supposedly discussing that week. She'd tell me about their conversations, the different perspectives the women brought to the literature, and how much she enjoyed the intellectual stimulation. I never questioned it. Why would I? Elena had always been an avid reader, and the idea of her joining a book discussion group seemed perfectly natural. She'd even show me the books sometimes, classics like The Great Gatsby or contemporary novels I'd never heard of. Everything seemed legitimate. Our neighbor Harold lived directly across the street from Monica's house. Harold was retired, in his 70s, and had always been friendly but kept to himself. He had one of those elaborate security camera systems that seemed a bit excessive for our quiet neighborhood, but everyone figured it made him feel safer living alone. Last month, Harold knocked on our door on a Saturday afternoon. I remember the exact moment because Elena was in the kitchen making lunch, and I was watching football. Harold looked uncomfortable, shifting his weight from foot to foot, his usual warm smile nowhere to be found. "David," he said quietly, "I need to talk to you about something. It's difficult." I invited him in, but he shook his head. "Maybe we could step outside for a minute." Alone. Something in his tone made my stomach drop, but I couldn't have imagined what he was about to tell me. We walked to the end of my driveway, far enough from the house that Elena wouldn't overhear our conversation. Harold took a deep breath. "I've been struggling with whether to tell you this for weeks now, but I can't keep watching this happen without saying something." "Watching what happened, Harold?" He looked toward Monica's house, then back at me. "David, there is no book club. There never has been." The words didn't make sense at first. "What do you mean there's no book club?" "Monica hasn't lived in that house for over a year. She moved to Arizona after her divorce. The house has been rented to a young man named Trevor since last February." I felt like the ground was shifting beneath my feet. "That's impossible. Elena goes there twice a week. I've seen her walk over there myself." Harold nodded grimly. "I know, and I've been watching from my security cameras. David, she's been going there to see Trevor. They've been having an affair." The words hit me like a physical blow. I actually stumbled backward. "No, Harold, you must be mistaken. Elena wouldn't. She's not capable of." But even as I said it, pieces started falling into place. The way Elena had been taking extra care with her appearance on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. How she'd started buying new lingerie, claiming she wanted to feel good about herself. The slight changes in her behavior when she'd return from her book club meetings, a certain glow, a contentment that I'd attributed to the joy of good conversation and friendship. Harold pulled out his phone. "I have footage, David. I'm sorry, but I have footage." My hands were shaking as I took his phone. The video was time-stamped from the previous Tuesday. I watched as Elena walked up to Monica's front door. But instead of knocking, she used her own key. The door opened, and there was Elena, kissing a man I'd never seen before, tall, probably in his early 30s, with dark hair and an athletic build. I watched in horror as my wife of 15 years embraced this stranger with a passion I hadn't seen from her in years. The way she looked at him, the way she touched his face, it was undeniable. This wasn't some innocent mistake or moment of weakness. This was a full-blown affair. conducted with the precision and routine of a well-rehearsed lie. Harold had more footage. Weeks worth. Elena arriving at the house, sometimes carrying flowers, sometimes bringing takeout food, always using her own key, always greeted by Trevor, with the kind of intimacy that spoke of a long-term relationship, not a casual fling. How long has this been going on? I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer. Based on what I've recorded, at least 8 months. Probably longer. But that's when I first noticed the pattern and started paying attention. 8 months. For 8 months, Elena had been living a double life, lying to my face twice a week, creating an elaborate fiction about book, clubs, and literary discussions, while she was actually having an affair with a man young enough to be her little brother. I thanked Harold, though I'm not sure gratitude was the right emotion for the moment. He'd given me the truth, but it was a truth that was going to destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. I spent the rest of the weekend in a daze, acting normal around Elena while my mind raced with questions and plans. How long had she been planning this? Was she going to leave me for Trevor? Did our entire marriage mean nothing to her? On Tuesday evening, Elena went through her usual routine. She showered, did her hair, put on one of her newer outfits, and grabbed a book from our shelf, Pride and Prejudice this time. "See you around 10, she said, kissing me on the cheek with the same casual affection she'd shown for months while deceiving me. "Actually," I said, "I think I'll walk over with you tonight. I'd like to meet these book club ladies you're always talking about." The color drained from Elena's face so quickly I thought she might faint. "Oh, David, that's really not necessary. The group is quite small, and we're in the middle of a really intense discussion. Maybe another time would be better." But I was already putting on my jacket. "I insist. I've been curious about this group for so long. Besides, Monica's been such a good friend to you. I should probably introduce myself properly." Elena's panic was visible now. She was stammering, trying to come up with reasons why tonight wouldn't work, why I should stay home, why the timing was all wrong. But I was already walking toward the door. The 5-minute walk to Monica's house felt like an eternity. Elena was beside me, silent except for her increasingly desperate attempts to convince me to turn around. When we reached the front door, I knocked firmly. Trevor answered, shirtless and clearly not expecting visitors. The look on his face when he saw Elena standing next to me was almost comical. If the situation hadn't been destroying my life. "Elena," he said, confusion evident in his voice. I thought. "Trevor," I said calmly, "I'm David, Elena's husband." The silence that followed was deafening. Elena was crying now, not the gentle tears of remorse, but the desperate sobs of someone whose carefully constructed lies had just collapsed around them. The conversation that followed was brief and painful. Elena admitted to the affair, though she tried to minimize it, claiming it was just a mistake, that it didn't mean anything, that she still loved me. Trevor, to his credit, seemed genuinely shocked to learn that Elena was married, though I found it hard to believe he could have been completely unaware. That was 3 weeks ago. Elena is staying at her sister's house now while we figure out divorce proceedings. 15 years of marriage ended in the span of 5 minutes. All because a concerned neighbor couldn't stand to watch me being deceived any longer. I keep thinking about all the signs I missed, all the little lies that built up to this massive betrayal. The books she never actually read, the friends she never actually saw, the conversations that never actually happened. Our entire relationship had become a performance, with me as the unwitting audience to Elena's double life. I'm angry, of course, but mostly I'm just sad. Sad that the woman I loved was capable of such sustained deception. Sad that our marriage wasn't worth more to her than whatever excitement she found with Trevor. Sad that 15 years of shared history could be thrown away for what appears to have been nothing more than the thrill of an affair. Sometimes the people we trust most are the ones who hurt us deepest. Sometimes the life we think we're living is built on nothing but carefully constructed lies. And sometimes it takes a neighbor's security camera to show us the truth we never wanted to see. If this story resonated with you, I'd appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. And remember, you're not alone in whatever you're going through.